rituals of a faraway country overruled the laws of a new homeland. On the streets of his East Bronx neighborhood, those customs required residents to live under the thumb of the Camorra, the harsh and brutal wing of the Neapolitan mafia. While most of his neighbors had come to America in pursuit of a dream, like his father's desire for a better life in a sweeter part of the world, the Camorristas arrived to further spread their control. It was the leaders of the Camorra who decided who would live and who would die. They chose the men who worked, offering them steady jobs in the businesses under their control, the West Side docks, the 14th Street meat market, the Midtown garment centers, and the 3 area airports, in return for kickbacks often as high as half their weekly wages. One nod from a Camorrista, and a man would be frozen out, forced to go without table money to feed his family until well on the brink of starvation, until he agreed to do the criminal's bidding. The Camorra arranged and approved marriages, always for a fee, and often choosing the best brides for their own members. They lived without fear, as dismissive of New York's power structure as they had been of the elected officials in Naples. "They line everyone's pockets, especially their own," an old man once told the boy, his voice filled with a lifetime of bitterness. "Only they use our money to do it. It's been true since I was your age, and it will be true when you are mine." The boy's father had been one of the few men who balked at the daily demands the Camorra made on his life. He had paid the bounty they claimed on his butcher's wages, but kept his distance, avoiding any contact with the gangsters who ruled the streets of his neighborhood. "Your father was a proud man," his mother told the boy the night of the murder. "A good man. No matter what others may ever tell you, you must always believe he died a hero." The boy never said a word. He lowered his head and stepped out onto the fire escape that faced a long wall of tenements, ignoring the stream of visitors bearing sympathy and food. He knew his father's killer was somewhere in the morning room. He didn't need to turn his head or glance in the man's direction to know where he was, standing in the back, shaking hands, receiving his due respect as if he were the host of a festive function. The boy didn't know why his father had been targeted by the Camorra, what a man who hadn't missed a day of work in 6 years could have done to incur their wrath, but he knew that Don Nicola Rossi had the answers he sought. The boy had known Don Nicola all his life and had even been to the majestic 3-tiered house the gangster lived in, just across the street from Woodlawn Cemetery. He knew that all the money the men in his neighborhood kicked back from wages and high-interest loans found its way into his pockets. He knew the ones who didn't or couldn't pay back the full price suffered whatever loss he deemed necessary. Don Nicola didn't control the neighborhood as much as own it, and the lives of those who lived on its streets. His word was the only law that mattered, and his verdicts were always final. And the boy knew it had been Don Nicola's verdict for his father to be shot dead, his body left lying between 2 parked cars on a side street off White Plains Road. The boy took a deep breath and stood, taking several steps toward his father's coffin. He could feel the room grow quieter behind him, and then turn absolutely still as he knelt on a wooden slab, hands folded in prayer, his face inches from the only man he had ever loved. Giancarlo Lo Manto said that final prayer to his father, with tears falling down the sides of his face, his lower lip trembling, head bowed, eyes closed. He followed the brief prayer with a silent vow and a promise. He would seek vengeance for his death, as well as for all the other innocent men who had died as he had, on the vicious whim of a career criminal. He didn't know when or how he would do it, only that he would. Lo Manto pulled a folded note from his shirt pocket and kept it hidden in the palm of his right hand. He leaned closer to his father and gently slid the note into the side pocket of his blue jacket. He patted it in place, glanced down at his father, and kissed him gently on the forehead. Lo Manto then stood and walked out of the room as silently as he had entered. As a prince must be able to act just like a beast, he should learn from the fox and the lion, because the lion does not defend himself against traps, and the fox does not defend himself against wolves. So one has to be a fox in order to recognize traps, and a lion to frighten off wolves. Niccolò Machiavelli.